Welcome to this tutorial on veneers and dimensions in TonCut. Today, we'll cover two key topics: veneers and net, gross, and cut dimensions. Let's get started. To enable veneers, first, head to the Material Group settings and make sure the May be veneered option is enabled. Let's check. Yes, it's already on for both material groups. Now that veneers are enabled, if we look at a piece, we'll see 4 inputs for veneers, 1 for each edge. None means no veneer is applied. For the first edge, we'll manually select a veneer, and for subsequent edges, TonCut will automatically propose the most commonly used veneer for this specific material group. Once veneers are applied to all edges, you'll notice how the interface reflects this. We can add more veneers to the library. For example, let's add a black veneer. We can define its width, thickness, and surplus. Surplus, which we'll leave at 0 for now, adjusts the total length of veneers used in the optimization results. It doesn't affect the optimization process itself, but ensures accurate calculations for the amount of veneer needed. For example, if we set the surplus to 2 mm, the total veneer length for a single edge will increase by 4 mm. 2 mm added to each end of the edge. We can also set the maximum material thickness. Let's set it to 18 mm, leaving a 2 mm margin on both the top and bottom edges. This ensures the veneer fully covers the edge, typically accounting for a 4 mm difference between the material thickness and veneer width. Let's go back to the piece settings. You can navigate between edges using the arrow keys. Toggle through commonly used veneers with the spacebar, or press Ctrl+A to apply the same veneer to all edges. For new veneers that aren't yet associated with this material group, right-click or press the menu button on your keyboard to open the selection menu. Let's select our new black veneer for all the edges. That's how veneers are added and managed. Now let's move on to dimensions. In the material group settings, you can specify whether dimensions are net or gross. Net dimensions exclude the thickness of the veneers, while gross dimensions include it. For now, we'll keep it set to net dimensions and return to the piece settings. By default, entered dimensions are treated as gross dimensions, meaning they include the veneer thickness. The schema always shows gross dimensions. In this case, you can see these are the same values as here in the inputs. Switching to net dimensions will prompt an alert asking if you want to keep gross dimensions unchanged. Selecting Yes keeps the gross dimensions as they are, while adjusting the net dimensions accordingly. For example, if the veneers are 1 mm thick, the net dimensions will be 2 mm smaller, 1 mm deducted from each side. If you increase the net length or width, the gross dimensions automatically update. Switching back to gross dimensions is just as easy, ensuring consistency. Now let's talk about cut dimensions. These are the dimensions used for cutting. They depend on the material group settings. Cut dimensions are based on net or gross dimensions, adjusted by surplus and margin. While gross dimensions are by default displayed throughout most of TonCut, cut dimensions appear in results schemas and printouts. You can also configure which dimensions, gross, net, or cut, are displayed in piece lists via the configuration window under the Dimensions tab. For example, if we switch to net dimensions, the list updates accordingly. Inside the piece settings, the dimensions remain gross, such as 1480 by 750, but on the list, they are shown as 1478 by 748, reflecting the net dimensions. If we remove the veneers, the dimensions adjust accordingly. Let's revert this for now. If we select the Dimensions Being Cut option in the configuration window, the piece list will display the dimensions used for cutting. These dimensions depend on material group settings. For instance, if net dimensions are selected and we switch to gross dimensions, the values on the list will update. Additionally, when you adjust the surplus or margin, the cut dimensions will change accordingly. To summarize, in the configuration window, you can choose which dimensions, gross, net, or cut, are displayed in piece lists. In the material group settings, you can define whether the material is cut based on net or gross dimensions. When entering data, You can choose whether to input gross or net dimensions. The schema and piece settings windows always displays gross dimensions for consistency. When optimization begins, veneer statistics are displayed here, showing the total veneer length and number of cuts. This is where veneer surplus is applied, increasing the calculated veneer length. For instance, with 2 veneered pieces, we might see a total veneer length of nearly 9 meters. In our case, surplus is set to 0, so the length here reflects only the sum of actual veneered edge lengths. Veneer information is also included in printouts, but we'll cover that in another video. And that's it for this tutorial on veneers and dimensions. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.